Sacred numbers of Ingliism. The most sacred and revered numbers in Ingliism are considered to be 3, 4, 7, 9, 16, 33, 40, 108, 144, and 369. This is connected to the ancient history of our wise ancestors and all white humanity living on the blessed Midgard earth with the hidden knowledge of all the tribes of the great race in the context of the number as well as the spiritual significance. Each sacred number has its own unique character, spiritual power, energetic vibration, and structure, as well as its relation to specific events in the history and lives of the peoples of the great race or the ancient gods. 3. This sacred number indicates that all Orthodox Old Believers Inglings must honor the great three heads of the worlds of Yavi, Navi, Slavi, and Prav. Fast on the third day of the Slavic Aryan week, remember daily and observe the commandments of the three highest ancient gods, Ramhat, Svarog, Perun, who make up the great three heads of the world of Yavi, to raise hymns and praise all the patron gods of our tribes in the morning, during the day, and in the evening, to undergo 3 sanctifications by Mother Nature to purify your body, soul, and spirit, to explore the salt of the earth, ancient wisdom, through faith, heart, and mind, to understand the trinity of the worlds in which a person lives, the world of nature, the human world, the divine world. Learn to perceive your world of Yavi physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Remember that all the main shrines of Ingliism, the temples of the original fire creation, are divided into 3 sacred parts: the entrance of Veles, the middle sanctuary, and the sacred Asgard. At the beginning of their spiritual development, every person from the great race must ascend through 3 levels of faith. Par. This sacred number indicates that our great race of Midgard Earth consists of 4 great peoples: the Rossans and Svetorus, the Daorians and Korians. The main swastika solar symbol represents Yarila the sun, happiness, joy, and prosperity, and at its core it has 4 curved rays. That the heavenly abodes of life exist in the worlds of Navi, Havi, glory, and right. For a normal, harmonious existence on Midgard Earth, a person must simultaneously develop their mind, body, soul, spirit, and conscience should be the measure of all his creative deeds aimed at the prosperity of the ancient tribes, the multiplication of offspring, and the strengthening of the original faith of our wise ancestors in the heart of each individual. That each person of the great race is created by 4 native gods. The first god is the earthly father, who gives the new person the images of spirit and blood, and also bestows his seed of life, from which a new person comes into the light of God. The second god, the earthly mother, gives the new person a body, love, tenderness, care, and attention, so that they can fully explore the world of Yavi around them. The third god, the heavenly goddess Jiva, gives the new person a pure soul and the desire to creatively create for the good of their ancient lineage. The fourth god, the patron god of the earthly father, gives the new person sacred knowledge, ancient wisdom, and conscience, which is above all earthly goods. Moreover, in the sacred land of Daria, 4 rivers divided the continent into 4 parts: Rai, Tuli, Svagu, and Karu, which were inhabited by 4 great peoples united in a great race. Seza. This sacred number indicates that we should remember and honor the 7th day of the week, for on the 7th day the rain god was crucified in the Caucasus Mountains. We should fast on the 7th day of the Slavic Aryan week, remember the temple of Semyevrod, and develop our 7 senses: sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste, intuition, and clairvoyance. Remember that the period of carrying a child in the mother's womb lasts 7 months according to the Slavic Aryan calendar, and that a man has no right to touch another woman during this time. 9 is a sacred number, the highest among the simple numbers, for the great 9-headed one protects the 9 days of the Slavic Aryan week. Summer in the Darian cycle of the number of God consists of 9 months. At the age of 9, the first great initiation into the ancient wisdom of the gods and ancestors takes place. A person walking the steps of faith completes 9 lessons and sees 9 primary colors: black, red, scarlet, gold, green, sky blue, blue, violet, and white. The sacred star of Ingli is depicted with 9 rays. On the 9th day after a person's death, the Great Triza is performed, which is the commemoration of the deceased. 16. This sacred number reminds us that the Slavs and Aryans had a hexadecimal system of calculation, that 16 years make up a single circle, that on the Svoroj circle there are 16 heavenly chambers of constellations, that the day has 16 hours, and a girl marries after 16, for until then she is a messenger learning news, and after 16 she becomes a bride, that through 16 higher worlds of pure Svarog one must follow the golden path of spiritual growth to reach Pravi, and every 16th summer of the Daryan circle is sacred, lasting 369 days. Through the 16 worlds of Svarog, one must pass along the golden path to reach the divine world of Pravi. Every 16th summer is sacred. The number 33 reminds us that gods Ramhat, Svarog, and Perun gave 33 wise commandments. At age 33, every white person enters a time of spiritual perfection. Every 33rd day of the month is sacred. 33. This sacred number reminds us that the ancient heavenly gods Ramhat, Svarog, and Perun gave us their 33 wise commandments, and that upon reaching the age of 33, every white person from the great race enters a time of spiritual perfection and fulfillment of the lessons of the gods, and that every 33rd day of the month is sacred. 40. This sacred number reminds us that there are 40 days in each even month, that for women of the great race, the period of life perfection begins 40 fortnights after the birth of the first child, which is 40 months of 40 days. Each mother, from the Slavic or Aryan lineages, should breastfeed her child for at least 40 months, according to the Daryan cycle of the number of God, and that on the 40th day after a person's death, the Great Trizna is performed, a sacred rite of remembrance for the deceased. 108. This sacred number reminds us that every person from the Slavic and Aryan lineages can commit 108 sins, and during the festival of Ramkain, with each strike of the great bell, a person is given the opportunity to rid themselves of one sin. The great bell tolls exactly 108 times during the festival of Ramkain, and during the festival of Ramkain, with each strike of the great bell, a person is given the opportunity to rid themselves of one sin. The great bell rings exactly 108 times on the Ramkanita holiday. And during the first month of the new summer, a person who has committed dishonorable acts must correct the situation. For example, if they broke a tree, they should plant a tree. If they hurt a child, they should comfort the child. If they offended someone, they should apologize, and so on. That after 108 months, or 12 years, following the birth of a child, a white person reaches adulthood and undergoes the rites of passage into adulthood, and the naming ceremony, meaning the child's old name is washed away and they are given a new adult community name. After undergoing the rites of passage into adulthood and the naming ceremony, a new full-fledged community member is responsible for all their actions, words, and deeds. And after the next 108 months of life, by receiving spiritual sanctification through the sacred fire, they come to understand the true meaning of their ancient lineage and the true significance of their family name. This sacred number reminds us a complete cycle of the eternal Daryan circle of God lasts 144 summers, and many events in the history of the Slavic Aryan state are connected to this periodicity. For instance, 144 months after a girl's birth, she would be married off, leaving her father's lineage to join her husband's family. In one Slavic hour, there are 144 parts, and the period containing 144 summers was called the Circle of Life by the ancient Slavs and Aryans. 369. This sacred number reminds us the sacred summer lasts 369 days. 369 weeks after birth, the era of spiritual education begins, and 369 months after birth, the era of spiritual enlightenment begins. 369. This sacred number reminds us that the sacred summer lasts 369 days, that after 369 weeks following birth, the era of spiritual education begins for a person, and that after 369 months following birth, the era of spiritual enlightenment begins for a person of the great race.